Good evening and welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, our poll of exit polls to give you, we hope, a relatively clear idea of who is winning the elections in 5 states: Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, Assam and West Bengal. What does it mean at the state level? What is the bigger national picture here? On this show, quick reactions from key state players as we try and understand what these polls indicate. We also have our panel of experts here in the studio. Remember, we are not doing a poll of our own. Exit polls have proven to be massively inaccurate in the past, and so we are bringing you the results of others' polls and averaging out the results, giving you an idea of just what may well be the results. All right, so here's the big story across these states to give you a big idea. First, let's take a look at Assam, and here's the big picture. Now, we're averaging this out. This is a poll of exit polls. The BJP and its allies at 74, the Congress down to 34, a huge setback for the Congress, the AIUDF at 13, others at 5. The total number of seats 126. The projection seems clear over here that the Congress is not going to do well this time. It's going to be the BJP and its allies that are going to come out strong. Let's move to West Bengal, but there are no surprises over here. It's the Trinamool Congress at 179 of 294, which is the projection. The left in the Congress at 109, the BJP at 3, so the BJP seems to be opening its account, but nothing terribly significant in terms of having an impact on these elections, others 3. Kerala, again, it seems that the back and forth between the LDF and the UDF seems to be continuing. 140 seats, the UDF at 50, the LDF projected at 86. BJP and its allies at 2 and others 2. So the sense that the BJP might end up being a kingmaker in Kerala if the LDF and the UDF were close by, that doesn't seem to be the indicator if those trends in Kerala are the case. Tamil Nadu, the AIA DMK at 110, and now here, this is interesting. The DMK and its allies at 109. Now, this news is changing over the last 15 minutes or so. That's because there are fresh polls, exit polls that are coming in. So the sense that the DMK and the Congress were set to actually win in the state of Tamil Nadu, that doesn't seem to be the case. It's the AIA DMK that's one ahead. So it's difficult. And let's finally pull up Puducherry if we can. There we have it, 18 to the DMK, so no surprise there. With the exception of 2011, if I'm not mistaken, it's the DMK has broadly, Puducherry has broadly followed the trend of what is happening in Tamil Nadu. Now, in Tamil Nadu, it is a bit confusing at this stage, it needs to be said. It's one seat, which is the gap between the DMK and the AIA. It's fascinating. It's always impossible to predict Tamil Nadu. So that's the broader picture right now. But we're going to go straight across now and turn our attention to the state of Assam. We're joined now by Gaurav Gogoi, who joins us at this stage, and Chandan Mitra as well. And we've got our panelists over here, Manishankar Iyer, Sheshadri Chari, Siddharth Badarajan, and Mr. Basu over here. Thanks very much, all of you, for being with us. Gaurav, let me come to you first. The numbers aren't looking very encouraging for you. 33 out of 126. It's been 3 years for the 3 terms for the Congress in Assam. Do you believe that this sort of result was perhaps inevitable?
Well, while going for a 4th term, Vishnu, is extremely difficult. The results which are being predicted by the exit polls don't seem to match with our own internal polls. Our own internal polls show Congress to be the single largest party, will do quite well, and we're all set to form the 4th government on the 19th. So as of now, I feel that the Congress is going to do well in Assam. With its alliance, will do better in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala as well.
You know, Gaurav, as I speak, we're getting a fresh revised update of the poll of polls. It's down for the BJP from 81 to 73. It's up for the Congress from 33 to 37. I'm just waiting to get the number of the AIUDF. Is 12, and therefore others are 4. All right, so let's go with these revised numbers. I'm going to repeat these numbers. Another poll has come in, so we've averaged it out. Assam, as of now, stands at the BJP plus BJP and its allies at 73, the Congress at 37, the AIUDF at 12 and others at 4. So a marginal gain, but Gaurav, it seems that you aren't doing very well. So what would you just put this down to anti-incumbency, or would you accept that there has been a substantial switch? Bodos, for example, moving across to the BJP, the large Hindu community in Assam sticking with the BJP. What are some of the Bengal, the tea garden workers switching from the Congress to the BJP? Are these all factors that have gone against you, Gaurav?
Well, 2 points, Vishnu. First of all, Assam is a very complicated state with various ethnic and religious and language communities. So it's extremely hard to predict from district to district the profile changes. Secondly, if you remember the 2014 Lok Sabha polls, BJP on its own had won close to 60 assembly constituencies on its own. Today, even if you go by the exit polls, BJP has received a massive setback and is on its own, I'm assuming, will see a massive reduction in the seats that it has won. And
why would it be a massive reduction? That doesn't seem to be the case at all.
Allies, sub-regional allies.
Gaurav, that doesn't seem to be the case at all. But Chandan Mitra, coming over here.
If you're looking at the numbers, if you're looking at the numbers, you're showing a BJP and its allies. There are two other allies. You're not able to disaggregate.
No, we are not able to discriminate between the BJP and its allies. The assumption is that it's the BJP which would be the be that as it may. Chandan Mitra, would you like to react to this? 73, that's the latest average, is an exceptionally encouraging result for you. 73 out of 126. You appear to be set to come to power. Is this in line with your expectations, or better perhaps than what you'd expected?
Well, yes, I think it's slightly better than expected. We were all expecting that to come to power in Assam with our allies, and the allies are significant allies, the AGP and the BPF. They are important regional parties, and with their in their alliance, but the BJP is the major party. Without the BJP, the alliance would have meant nothing. But we are glad that the people of Assam will finally get a nationalist government, and a government which is takes into account the diversity of the Northeast and of the people of Assam. I think the writing was on the wall ever since the Lok Sabha election, when the BJP won 7 of the 14 seats, and thereafter the BJP has consolidated. My young friend Mr. Gaurav Gogoi may try to console himself by saying, well, BJP on its own won more seats in the Lok Sabha, but maybe in the assembly constituencies, but doesn't matter. A win is a win. Miss is as good as a mile. I mean, therefore, Assam, for the first time, the Congress is being dislodged, and as I said, a nationalist government is about to take office if the exact exit poll results are true.
Gaurav, be honest with us. Is there a sense of despondency at your home today? Your father, 81 years old, he has been a veteran, a maverick for the Congress party for so many terms. Is there a sense that as far as the Congress party is concerned, all good things have to come to an end, and now it was unrealistic to expect, given the dynamics, given the rise of so many opposition players, certainly the BJP of Tarun Gogoi coming back for a 4th term as Chief Minister. What's happening at your house this evening as these results are coming in?
Vishnu, the answer is that we are still optimistic. The Congress party is still optimistic. The feedback that we have got from our party workers, the feedback that we have got from our MLAs is that the Congress will do exceedingly well, even though that's going for a 4th term. Now, coming back to Chandan Mitra ji's answer, you saw in his answer his own surprise. As per BJP's own internal analysis, they don't expect these results. Now, surely, trust BJP's own party sources have told them that do not expect the kind of results that these exit polls are showing. Whereas we are also strongly focusing on the sources that we have got from our party, and which we are very confident of forming a 4th term government. largely because in the last 2 years, the kind of policies that have been pushed by the centre have been detrimental to the economic
Okay, well, we'll
growth
see,
of the
Gaurav.
Northeast
We'll see what
as a
happens.
whole.
It
Whether
does
it's a
seem,
withdrawal
your
of the
critics would
special
say that
category
you're
status
clutching to
or
very
the
little at this
short
stage.
intervention.
Industrial investment promotion
Sheshadri
policy.
Chari,
Just a
one
short
of the key
intervention.
points in favor of the
Short
BJP, a lot of people
intervention.
would say, is Sarbananda Sonowal, the sports minister at the centre, but now being projected as the likely chief ministerial candidate. The BJP put in a great
Yeah,
deal of
may I just
effort
say-
as far as the state is concerned. Mr. Mitra, I'm just asking Sheshadri Chari this question. His impact as a local person from Assam.
Short observation that this has not come as a surprise to the BJP, as Mr.
Okay,
Gaurav
okay.
Gogoi is trying to
All right, not a
suggest.
surprise to the
We
BJP.
were confident of winning all along.
I take that point, sir. His role, Sonowal, as a local person from Assam and a leader of the BJP, a face of the BJP, how much is a factor in this win? Should it be a win? Would the Sonowal factor have been?
Certainly a local face would always be better as far as a state like Assam is concerned. I don't think Assam is a very complicated state. Assam alone is not a very complicated state. For that matter, every state in India has its own complexities as far as elections are concerned. So every political party has to take into consideration all these complexities. So in that, Assam also was one of the case history. So the BJP very consciously took a decision that instead of going in as a party without a face, it would be better if we go for a election with a local face. So
Yep.
we got a very good candidate, so we have suggested that, and I think that's working very well. But that is not the only factor. The most important factor here is the total lack of a new narrative on the part of the Congress party. Mr. Tarun Gogoi faced a huge dissension within his own party, and for the last 2 years, it's not just last 6 months, but the last 2 years he has not been able to manage the dissension for whatever reason.
And would you say that is the reason why it's infighting within the Congress?
That infighting within the Congress has contributed very largely to a huge desertion from the Congress, and it's
Directly
not
to the BJP?
just not a leadership, but a big chunk of voters who did
Okay.
not see anything coming from the Congress table have moved over to the BJP.
Manishankar Iyer, assuming that this is all correct, I need to keep saying that because
Yes,
we might all be talking rubbish at this stage. One hopes that it is actually the way it's turning out to be. The national picture for the Congress, assuming that these results are correct, you're losing Assam, assuming it's the AIADMK that comes to power in Kerala. I use the word assuming.
It's not in Kerala. You
In
mean
Tamil Nadu, and as far as Kerala is concerned, it's the LDF which is projected to win. What would, again, it's a hypothetical question, apologies for that, but it's a very strong possibility. What then is the national picture for the Congress?
It changes something, it doesn't change anything fundamentally. We are a party with only 44 or 45 seats in the Lok Sabha. That is the existential reality. And what we are attempting to do is to rise from that. Assam is the exception from the method that we had thought of. For if in Assam, the Congress had gone with the AIUDF, if they had actually been together rather than separated, I think the total number of seats that the two would have got together would have been importantly higher than what they have now got separately.
It would have been 73-49.
Well, that's mathematical. If we'd actually fought the election together,
it would.
there would have been more.
Yes.
So I think the idea that was evolved in Bihar, that the non-BJP forces should get together, was a factor that was not taken into account in fighting the Assam election.
Yeah.
The expectation was that the record of the Gogoi government, which is really pretty good, and the fact that the BJP talks about a right to return for Hindus who are coming out of
Yes.
Bangladesh, whereas in fact a lot of the land and the property and things that are alleged to have been taken away from Assamese have been taken away by Bangladeshi Hindus.
Yeah.
It's not just Bangladeshi Muslims. And the prospect of this issue becoming a communal issue in the sense of being, if you're an Assamese Muslim, then you're not quite au fait, and if you're an Assamese Hindu, you're okay. These kinds of things are worrying for the future. But if your indications particularly in the case of Assam, are tending in the right direction. I would endorse what Gaurav said, because I spoke to Tarun only a few days ago, and he was very confident, as he has been since February when I first interacted with him on this, that he would come back. So there is just that one hope. But if, as you say, you're asking me to base my answer on your assumptions, on your assumptions, it would appear that the Congress is going to lose Assam. But the trend showing, if we do get together, then things get better, then maybe it is the Gathbandhan idea that should be spread all over the country.
Okay, I want to quickly move on now. Let's shift our focus, our attention to Kerala. And here are the latest numbers. Let's play out those numbers once again. The new average coming out in our poll of polls is 80 for the LDF, the UDF 57, the BJP 2, others 1. Now this has changed again in the last 15-20 minutes or so. Since this program actually started, something new has come in terms of a poll. It was LDF 94, UDF 43. It's gone down for the LDF, but it's still a comfortable majority, 80 out of 140 for the LDF, UDF 57. So the gap is much larger than it's been in the past. Perhaps the BJP 2 and others 1. Let's just get some quick reactions. Jake Thomas, the senior LDF leader, joins us now. Mr. Thomas, if this is correct, then it's a very substantial win for you, and the margin of victory would be much more than perhaps a lot of people in your party would have expected. It's been much closer in the past. Would you say that this margin, which is being projected right now, is larger than your expectations, bigger than your expectations?
No, the left front in Kerala is going to have a stunning victory with 100 plus seats.
100 plus seats. You can forget the election rhetoric now. The polling has already taken place. Realistically, sir, 80 is still very strong. 80 out of 140 is very, very strong. Aren't you satisfied with this projection?
No, because other than even the last local body elections, the left front had a standing victory, but now the political scenario is much more positive for the left front to have a more standing victory like the last legislative assembly when Comrade V.S. Achyutanandan came to power in Kerala.
All right, you contested against Oomen Chandy. Is it safe for me to ask you what you think your own prospects are?
Sorry?
Do you think you're going to defeat Oomen Chandy?
Yeah, because apart from the last 10 times or for the past 45 years, Oomen Chandy is continuously representing the Puducherry constituency, and for the last 5 years he is the CM. And apart from the last 45 years and the last 5 years, the people of the Kerala, not only the Kerala but also the people of Puducherry is witnessing a new phase because the Kerala has witnessed the highest number of scams and corruptions under the Chief Ministership of Oomen Chandy, and most probably the whole Kerala has witnessed the vital role of CM or his office in all the scams and corruptions.
Would you say, sir, that is the real factor, that as far as Kerala is concerned, it was the various scams which have broken out in the UDF, which would be a decisive factor in terms of the LDF potentially coming to power? The big factor, scams and corruption.
You see, that is definitely a major factor, but in any case, because there the battle lines are more sharply drawn, the question of policies, the kind of policies that had been pursued by, because we had successfully addressed the question of agrarian crisis during the earlier government, but during this period, generally we have seen acceleration in the impact of the agrarian crisis on the peasantry, and it was hardly addressed by the government. So similarly, the question of traditional industries, for example, cashew, coir, I mean, people have been facing a lot of problems and which have not been sensitively addressed by the UDF government. So there are many factors, and particularly among the youth there is a resurgence of the left. You have just seen Jack we had put him up against Oman Chandi.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah. He is the youngest of them all, and many other young candidates. And if you have followed the campaign of the LDF, it was youth all over. And I think overall we should be actually doing much better than what you are projecting.
Okay. Siddharth, a lot of people would have said that the BJP would be somewhat more of a factor in Kerala than these numbers indicate. Some others actually went to the extent that they could even be in a kingmaker's position if the numbers between the LDF and the UDF were very close. But these numbers indicate that in fact it's not that close. The BJP is projected to open its account with just 2. So that's not really worked out. Neither has that effort to reach out to the Edava Hindu community as part of their alliance. That doesn't seem to have worked out as well.
But we don't know, right? Because the fact that they've opened their account is significant, if this poll is correct.
Yeah.
We don't know the vote percentage. So it's quite possible that the BJP may have polled reasonably well in terms of vote share, and hence destroyed, hurt the UDF and helped LDF. And in a way, this is a good outcome, because if I was BJP, or if you were a BJP leader, do you really want to be kingmaker and be forced to choose between supporting a UDF
but the
or an
NDF
LDF?
or the UDF wouldn't choose the BJP either.
Well,
so
I'm saying it would be an unhappy and horrible situation for the BJP to be in. This way, they have established their presence, which is significant in the long term, and shown that they are able to generate swings. They're able to generate swings and hurt a candidate. But in the long run, the BJP will have to moderate its Hindutva position, because the kind of politics, divisive politics, which sometimes works for the BJP in elsewhere in India, I don't think in Kerala is going to pay it dividends or let it grow beyond whatever it's able to do.
Mr. Mitra, the statement made by the Prime Minister recently comparing Kerala with Somalia, the fact that hurt sentiments on the ground, there were all sorts of hashtags on Twitter going around. Is that something, would you accept that, that's not worked in your favor at all with these elections being played out?
No. Well, the Prime Minister's comment was very widely and deliberately misread. The Prime Minister didn't compare the whole of Kerala to Somalia. He only said that the infant mortality rate and malnutrition in certain parts of Kerala were as bad as Somalia. Now, this is a statistical truth, but it was deliberately twisted, and it was said as if the Prime Minister intended to insult the Keralites, who, of course, everybody knows are very enterprising people, very intelligent people, and the question of the Prime Minister insulting them did not arise at all. So I don't think that it has cost the BJP anything. People see through these kind of gimmicks.
And sometimes you're at the receiving end as well, but go ahead, sir.
No, my good friend Mr. Mitra was saying that he went to the micro of Kerala, but we expect a national leader, and that too the Prime Minister of the country, to talk about the problems and the challenges facing the state. And he should actually charge Mr. Amit Shah, who is the president of that party, because he did the worst foot in the mouth phenomena when showed Outlook, which is a story about Sri Lanka, and attributing to Attapadi in Kerala. Now I don't know whether Mr. Mitra has followed that. So if anybody is giving credence to that kind of a foot out, in the mouth statement, it is the president of his party.
Chandan Mitra, do you want to respond to that very briefly before we move on to Tamil Nadu?
No, I think there is nothing to respond to this. During elections, many things are said, and they should not be taken too seriously. They don't determine the outcome of elections.
Anyway, I think these statements did not really make a big
Vishnu
impact.
Also made a huge error in Assam with respect to Assam's own history. So I think this is a disease afflicting the BJP, especially when it comes to election campaigns.
But if it's a disease in the case of Assam, Gaurav, it's a disease which seems to be
but still
not a disease at all. But yes,
could have contributed.
Yes.
What is more important is what statements the leaders make.
I would humbly request, before you send the party president to campaign anywhere in the state, he should research on the state's history, not get mixed up with Ahom King Sukhafa and confuse it with Mughals, not know what kind of state public services are being offered. It is insulting, and please do not treat it lightly.
Thank you for your gratuitous advice.
has a
Thank
sentiment.
All right,
you.
Gaurav and Mr. Mitra, can you just pause for a moment? Mr. Sheshadri has been interrupted twice. Let's not do a usual tutu meme right now. Mr. Chari, you'll have to raise your voice a little bit.
No. It's not in it's not
just
in my.
train your president and vice
I don't like to raise
president
my
and train
voice.
them.
Mr.
Not
Mitra,
to-
1 minute, sir.
not
1
to
minute, sir.
indulge in corruption.
Sheshadri Chari has a point to make. He's
No,
looking
no.
at me very intently, trying to make this point. I'm feeling embarrassed.
No, I'm only trying to get out of this
Go ahead, sir.
tutu my thing. It's not the question of that. But what I'm trying to say is, whatever statements that politicians make during elections, this gives a very, very marginal advantage to the other party, other person, other candidate to some extent, provided they are able to make use of it. All that we see in the Twitter and Facebook and all that doesn't really percolate down to the grassroots level unless the leadership is able to make that kind of an impact. But
Has an impact in the cities, among the literate
yes,
classes.
but
Kerala,
if you
more
see
than perhaps any other state.
if you see the
Hashtag
percentage
made a
of votes
huge
in the
impact on the
cities,
Kerala elections.
if you see the percentage of votes in the cities,
Yeah.
and if the voting percentage in the city is less,
Yeah.
it only affects the ruling party.
Okay.
Wherever it is, whether it is Tamil Nadu or Assam or Mumbai,
But the
we have
question of
seen
the
all these things.
literacy in education in Kerala is certainly not city-centric.
That's true.
It is the most literate and the most educated state in the country, and it is a state that is politically extremely alive, and it is very small percentage changes that take place from one election to another. So even if Mr. Chari is right in saying it has affected only a small percentage, it could make a huge difference.
Okay,
to
sir,
the
I'm
No,
going to
when-
lose my
when I-
DMK guest in a moment. We have to focus. We've got only about 20 odd minutes in this program left. Let's go across to Tamil Nadu. The latest numbers, 110 to the AIA DMK, 109 to the DMK, the BJP 0, others 15. This has changed dramatically in the last 1 hour or so. I'm joined now by the spokesperson of the DMK, Mr. Manuraj Shurmuga Sundaram. Thank you very much for being with us. What is your reaction to what is coming in? These projections, 110 for the ADMK, 109 for the DMK.
Yeah, we have to take exit polls for what they are worth. We can't sort of go by them blindly, but they do indicate a certain trend, and I do believe that there is a certain scientific basis for them. So without rubbishing them completely, what I would point out here, for the sake of the larger argument, is that exactly 2 years ago, Vishnu, the DMK scored a blank in Lok Sabha, and ADMK won 37 out of the 39 seats in the state. So from a position of roughly 0, if your exit poll, your poll of exit polls shows that we are neck and neck, that shows that there has been a surge in the popularity and support for the DMK party in the last 2 years. Now, like I said, this is just an indication. It just tells us which direction this is going. Final numbers will be out in a couple of days. We've waited 5 years. 2 more days is not very long at all now.
2 days when you probably won't be getting any sleep at all. N.V. Shankaran, the senior journalist from Chennai, I'm sure you don't disagree with me on that. Did you, Mr. Shankaran, see this being this close? Because there was a sense that the DMK was in the middle of a bit of a surge, at least in the last, last little phase in these elections. And there was a sense that perhaps they would pull clear of Jayalalitha. But now it seems that in fact that may not necessarily be the case.
In fact, people like us have been looking at the poll in a different way, and this time we felt that both DMK and ADMK would be very close at each other's neck, but the real spoilers would be the third front.
Yeah.
And they are the ones who are going to spoil it for either DMK or ADMK in at least 30 to 70 constituencies. With about 15 to 20% votes for a third front, they are tilting the balance either in favor of DMK or ADMK in 60 to 70 constituencies.
So they are the kingmakers
That's why
if
it is
this remains. Do you want to come in on
Yes,
this,
that is
Mr.
true.
Mani
The third
Shankar
front
Iyer,
is
the
the
People's
kingmaker.
Welfare Front, right? That's Captain Vijayakant's
Yes.
DMDK, Anbumani Ramdos's PMK,
Oh, PMK is a part of
and it's 15. Oh, right, it's 15 for others at this stage. Those 15 are very important if it remains close.
That is, you see, the polarization of political opinion in Tamil Nadu, this is almost irreconcilable polarization, also seems to have affected your polling. Because only half an hour ago, you were giving the DMK 139 and you now pulled them down because your averaging is from two polls that are giving absolutely opposite
All I can say in our defense, Mr. Iyer, is
so
that these are not our polls.
So therefore, I would like to refract your figures through the experience of having been in Tamil Nadu through the last few days of the election process.
And
it does seem to me that the earlier trends you were indicating were more in keeping with the situation on the ground. Because what has happened is that before the election process started, almost everybody gave the election hands down to Jayalalitha.
Yeah.
And therefore the trend is against her. And I can't believe that the trend which is
There's
going
obviously
so severely
one
against
poll
her
that's come in which
suddenly
has shown
gone-
something dramatically opposite to what was being polled
So
earlier
therefore,
on. So that's
I don't want to take your figures so much as the general situation that where 3 weeks ago, I think anybody would have handed this election over to the AIADMK. 3 weeks later, the election process is so definitively reversing things that I can't.
I take your point,
No,
sir. It's impossible almost to call Tamil Nadu the best of times.
No, I'll come to your rescue to some extent. I'll try. See, last time, I made this point earlier also. Last time the AIADMK got 130 seats extra,
Yeah,
and the DMK lost 126.
yeah.
The loss of DMK was the gain for AIADMK. But you look at the percentage. As far as the percentage is concerned, the AIADMK and Alliance got 51.9% as against the DMK for 39.5%. Now, where is the gap? You see this 10% swing. This is where the third front comes. The others who got 0 seats but got 8.5% votes. Now, these others are neither with the DMK nor with the ADMK in 2011.
Yes.
But this time, even if 80% of these others go with the DMK, it becomes 48% as against 52% of the
So the
ADMK.
others are the kingmakers.
So the difference is only 4% swing and not 10% as we have always been saying for a few times. That means these others are going to make a difference. Number one. Number two, the most important factor here is the more the BJP does well in Kerala as well as Tamil Nadu.
But they are not projected to do well here at all.
I am talking about the percentage, not the seats, not the percentage. I am not talking
yes,
about.
okay, I take that. Yes.
So the increase in the percentage of votes affects the ruling party. In Kerala, it affects the Congress. In Tamil Nadu, it affects the AIADMK.
You had a point to make.
Yeah, see, the thing is that the others in the Tamil Nadu election are not kingmakers because I don't think they are going to win large enough number of seats, quite frankly. But they are, in a way, king destroyers, right? So by polling reasonably well, but not enough to win seats, they are altering the kind of neat arithmetic that we had gone into this election assuming would operate. So the ADMK, which seemed to have an advantage. Manu's right. I mean, Manu says how the DMK has surged compared to 2014, right? So the trend is very clear. But why is that not translating into a clear victory for DMK? It could well be because of the so-called the third front, polling, taking votes and in a way allowing the ADMK to win more seats than it might have won if the contest was more clearly bipolar.
It's also interesting that Tamil Nadu has never voted the same party back into power since 1984. So if the AIADMK were to win these elections, that would be a big reversal and a surprising one at that. But Manuraj, let me ask you this. Dr. Karunanidhi, of course, the senior leader, he's very elderly right now. He is very much the person who would take over if as chief minister, if the DMK were to come back to power. But what about the role of M.K. Stalin this time? The fact that he has made perhaps a bigger contribution politically to this election process for you than ever before.
Yeah, Vishnu, just before I answer that, there are two things. No party has won 2 consecutive terms in the last 30 years. And also, Tamil Nadu has never gone for a hung assembly or a coalition government in the last 60. So really, we have to keep historical factors in consideration when we average out a series of polls to get at this. So I really believe that whichever way, Tamil Nadu has always sort of gone decisively in favor of a party. But to answer your direct question, Kalaignar Karunanidhi will be the chief minister if DMK is voted to power. He is 93 years young. Ultimately, he is the man who can deliver industrial growth, development to the state. Now, Mr. M.K. Stalin has risen through the ranks of the DMK in the last 40 years. He is well placed to succeed Kalaignar Karunanidhi in the years to come. He will play a very pivotal role. Let's keep in mind that M.K. Stalin was the Deputy Chief Minister when we lost power in 2011. So we assume that he will come back into that sort of a role if we are voted back in.